Welcome back to my videos that nobody wants to watch, but I make them for myself, so that's all that matters. Today it's a music video, it's not a Pokemon video, and I'm going to be talking about this gentleman here. This is Frank Zappa, and Frank Zappa, for me, is the most important person in my life, in a way. I view him as my god. I hold him in such incredible reverence, not just musically, but his mind, his philosophy. He was so important in my development as a human being, and along with the three members of Rush and the tennis player Steffi Graf, these people are my gods, and Serena Williams to a degree as well. But really, it's Frank above all others. And yesterday was the 30th anniversary of his death. So I thought I'd do my favourite Frank Zappa albums, top 20 at least. I mean, there are over 100 Zappa albums, and I'm only going to look at albums that were released in his lifetime, because otherwise it becomes an impossible task. But anyway, I'm going to show you the numbers 20 to 11 that are in not any particular order. These are all the ones that didn't quite make the top 10 of my albums. So we'll start with this one. These are, as I say, not in any order. They're just as I've pulled them out. This is Shut Up and Play Your Guitar, which was a triple album. And it's guitar solos, and he is just such an amazing guitarist. This album is very special to me. I remember when I bought it, it was a big box set, and I was quite young at the time, and I was just confused, but also totally blown away by it. So it's a special album to me. Weasels Rip My Flesh, wonderful album from the tail end of the original Mothers of Invention period. It's got some wonderful tracks on here. Love that album. I'm going to whiz through these because they are not my top 10. This is the new deluxe version, Overnight Sensation. Zombie Wolf's on here, so it's a great album. I love this album. I love all these albums, and all these albums get 5 out of 5 stars for me, but because Frank is so good, I have to draw a line somewhere and find my top 10. One of his later albums, well, later, sort of, 1980, 81, I don't know, that time. Love this cover with the ship arriving too late to save a drowning witch. The Drowning Witch title track on this, well, the whole of side 2 is just perfect music. So that's why it makes it. Steve Vai as well is on there. The wonderful Waka Jawaka, Sal Marquez. Brilliant album. My favourite of the Flo and Eddie era albums, the Fillmore East album in '71. Very different feel to the Mothers of Invention at this point. The vaudevillian, smutty humour with Flo and Eddie, but really very solid album. Took me a while to grow to love this. When I was little, it didn't quite work with me, but now that I'm older, I think it's funny. I know it's really lowbrow humour and smutty, but a lot of it is just, and it's the musicianship on here is amazing. So great album, real character to it. The very famous Hot Rats, which doesn't make my top 10, I'm afraid, even though it's a great album. Doesn't quite make the top 10 because there are just so many that do. Absolutely Free, his second album with the Mothers of Invention, I think is slightly better than Freak Out. I'm always reminded that Steven Wilson, another hero of mine musically, I remember talking to him in a pub once and asking him about what his least favourite Frank Zappa album was, and he said he loved all Zappa's albums except Freak Out, didn't like Freak Out at all. And I always think of that when I think of Freak Out, because I like Freak Out. I really do. I mean, I know it was a Tom Wilson production or whatever, and maybe it's that's the issue. But Freak Out's a great album, and so why Steven Wilson has an issue with it, I can't remember. I mean, we did talk about it, but I just can't remember I was just so outraged that he didn't like Freak Out. Anyway, we're only in it for the money. Again, short 67, 68, I can't remember. But I like it. I don't love it as much as some people do. It's fun. It's fun, you know, and there is some great little catchy tunes on here. And the whole concept's just great. And one of the live double CDs from the final tour, very, very I mean, the final tour, which was the only tour I actually saw him on. I'm of a generation that wasn't able to see him before this. But just the musicianship on this blows me away. Quite jazzy, big bandy, and just insanely good. So those are the ones that didn't make the top 10. So let us see, what have I chosen for number 10? Okay, did I? Let me just find it. Okay, my 10th favourite Zappa album is actually Burnt Weenie Sandwich, which has some great tracks on here. Has no bad tracks. But I love ABC and The Little House I Used to Live In and Holiday in Berlin. Yeah, great album. That makes my number 10. Number 9. Number 9, Joe's Garage. I far prefer Joe's Garage Act 1 because I'm a simple person who likes poppy songs with catchy tunes. Acts 2 and 3 become progressively stranger. But I do love them. But certainly the first part of this is flawless rock music. Amazing album. I love this man. Right, and I miss him. In number 8, we've got Roxy and Elsewhere, which is just an incredible lineup. Everyone's favourite band. Ruth Underwood, George Duke, Napoleon Murphy Brock. Yeah, okay, so that makes number 8. In 7th place, oh yes, it's probably not going to make everyone's top 10, but I love this album, and thank God it was remastered or whatever. The first CD that was released just when Frank was really unwell, the sound on it was horrific. The sound sort of warred between the speakers, and there was something really wrong with the mastering of it. It was unlistenable to, which was hurt so badly because it's such an impressive album acoustically. I mean, it's sonically. It sounds so beautiful, and it's funny, and the tracks are good. And Doreen's on here, which is one of my favourite tracks. So to have this a really nice mix re-released was so important. Love this album, and he's so handsome in that picture. Right, so that was number 7. Number 6. This is volume 2 of the 6 volumes of You Can't Do That on Stage Anymore. Incredible release of all these discs, but this is the Helsinki concert from that band that was Roxy and Elsewhere, etc. I love Redunzel, Inca Roads. I mean, everything on here is just it captures that time, and because it's a complete concert, it's just so good. What an amazing album! What an amazing album! So that is what did I do that one as? Number 6. At number 5, his Wheelchair album, when he was unable to walk because he'd been pushed off stage. I love this album, absolutely. What a brilliant 6 tracks, is it, or 5? 5 tracks, and there's nothing, not 1 second that is not flawless. Jazzy, love it, absolutely love it. Again, Sal Marquez is on that, and he is very good. And that was number 5. So number 4, I have gone for The Wonderful Shake Your Booty. And iconic, absolutely iconic. Yep, that's number 4 for me. Number 3, sorry I'm not talking about them much because there really isn't anything that I can say about these albums that they actually don't say for themselves, if you actually know them and listen to them. I'm just simply recommending some music that means so much to me. Number 3 is the amazing Uncle Meat. What an incredible album. There's something for everybody on here, but well, no, that's not true. There's something for people with good taste on here. It's probably horribly inaccessible to most people who would listen to it and say they don't know what they're listening to, but this is just an amazingly good album, and it sounds so good. That's the thing about it. It sounds so good. So that I love. And in second place, I mean, the top one is going to be very obvious, I'm afraid, because everyone chooses it. But in number 2, I have gone for this, which is the third of the 3 albums that were released around this time, documenting the final tour. Make a Jazz Noise Here. I prefer this to The Best Band You Never Heard in Your Life. I think there are better tracks on here. It sounds brilliant. The band is so incredibly good. I love this album, and as a final testament to his live sound, it's just so good. What a beautiful album. And I heard this tour, so you know it's special to me in that regard. And no surprises. My favourite album is, of course, One Size Fits All. Yes, Apostrophe didn't make the list. Sorry. I mean, I don't like Apostrophe as much as a lot of people. So sorry. It's good. It's good, but it doesn't make my top 20. Yeah, this. Inca Roads is my favourite. Is the best Frank Zappa track. It's kind of, you can't really argue against that unless you're being difficult. Yeah. Andy is on here. That's another track I absolutely adore, and San Bernardino, and so forth. I have a whole lot of it. And I know that Shaggy doesn't like Can't Afford No Shoes, but I don't mind. I mean, I kind of understand why. But I will agree with him about Dynamo Hum. I don't know. So yeah, this is my. Oh look, my hand. I can't do it. This is probably Frank's finest album. He was just absolutely hit the sweet spot with this one. So this isn't a very good video. I'm not talking about anything very deep. I'm just simply showing my favourites and saying, Frank, I miss you so much. He's the first face I see every morning because I have his picture on my wall in the kitchen, and I have a big poster of him and the mothers over my computer where I work, and I miss you.